Why does this keep happening to me? Why does it seem like I keep meeting the same person in different bodies? How come every time this happens, that happens, or every time that happens, this happens? Now, look, don't trip, but it could be that there are some thoughts that are buried deep down within your psyche, within your shadow, that you might not be aware that you are thinking, but you do believe, but it's permeating out through your life or showing up in your life in different ways, which is causing patterns. So if you notice that may have been happening to you, that could be a sign that you need to do some shadow work. In this video, we're going to talk about shadow work, what it is, why it's important, and how you can get started doing it. First off, welcome back, fellow spirits, if you're a returning viewer. If you're new to the channel, welcome. 'Tis I, Spiritgooroo. All I do is pretty much connect my spirit guides to yours and just relay messages. Or in this case, I just relay, information to help us start creating on purpose down here, because that's what life's all about, right? Make this thing look the way that we want it to look, right? Make it feel the way we want it to feel. So anyway, I do tarot readings. That'll be for other videos, but my email address is in the description. You can always hit me up there. And I also do shadow work coaching, which you can also hit me up in my email address in the description as well. Anything you want to connect with me about is through my email address in the description. So anyway, let's get it. Shadow work, what is it? Now, before we understand what shadow work is, we need to understand what your shadow is. So your shadow is, you may have heard this term before if you've already been poking around in spirituality or personal development or mindfulness and things of that nature. I've actually heard a few definitions to it. The most common one is these are negative thoughts, or like a shadow or a dark side about you, a part that you don't want to acknowledge or that you don't want to see. You actively suppress things, which that can be a part of the shadow, but as a whole, I don't believe that's what the shadow is. For the purposes of this video, your shadow is just the parts of your subconscious that you're unaware of. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. Those are labels you can choose to put on anything, but in this case, it's just the underlying beliefs in your core that you're unaware of. Those are pretty much housed by your shadow. So what is shadow work? Shadow work is becoming aware of and managing those subconscious beliefs. All right. So back to the beginning of the video, you may be experiencing, patterns in your life. Again, like it seems like certain situations keep on playing themselves out in either the exact ways or just a familiar framework just keeps showing up in your life, right? Or this is really noticeable in people and like our relationships. This relationships is normally what uncovers shadow works and inspires people to look into it. All your relationships continuously in the same way, or it seems like you're meeting the same person just in a different body because they're treating you the same as people in your past. Understand that, look, it's not the dating pool. All right, it's you. That might be hard and controversial to hear, but listen, hear me out. So the purpose of shadow work is to get to the bottom of these beliefs that continue to affect our behaviors, that are based off of our worldview, that just due to our need to be right, and also due to the fact that it's in our vibration, it continues to signal the universe to deliver us like the same things, the same patterns over and over, right? So let's get into why it's important. Shadow work is important because introspection is important. Self-awareness is important. Awareness is really about 90% of the entire process, right? It's very, very important to be self-aware of our beliefs, because our beliefs become our actions eventually, and our actions is what directly interact with our external world and shape our reality. So basically, everything in your life that you have right now, like good, bad, or indifferent, is a reflection of what you believe in your core and your shadow, right? So if you're unaware of some things that you believe, or that you might know that you believe, but you just try not to, or you suppress, those beliefs don't go away just because you suppress them or you don't even know about them. They're still there, and you still operate in certain ways based on those beliefs. The quickest example I can think of right now is someone with, um, they feel like they're unworthy of, love or something like that. Let's start there, right? They might have abandonment issues. Abandonment issues are caused by beliefs that, you're not worthy of love, that people always leave you, things of that nature. Or it doesn't even necessarily, of course, it doesn't necessarily have to be of love. It can be of all kinds of different areas of your life. Like, for instance, fitness. If you've ever experienced, like, okay, you start going to the gym for a while and then you stop, you start going back again, and then you stop, you don't consistently go. It's not because there's anything wrong with you per se, or is that you're not meant to be in shape. It's because you don't believe that you're in shape. There's a belief within you that says that this isn't for me, or I just don't see myself as this type of person to look like that. So therefore, it's hard to keep up the habits of somebody that looks like that if you don't actually believe that you're someone who could look like that. Or in career wise, right? If you feel like you keep on finding the same job situations, you end up leaving jobs for the same reason, or you stay there for the exact the like similar amounts of time, or you keep getting like the same, like there's people like, or archetypes of people that keep showing up in every job you go to, is because this is what you're attracting based on your shadow, right? So that's why it's important to know your beliefs so you can manage those and be like, okay, well, why do I think this? How is this really serving me? Which leads me into my last point of how to do it. Once you recognize that you want to do shadow work and that it's something that you definitely need to do, how do you get started, right? Well, the precursor to this is, look, forgive yourself, number one, because shadow work is essentially just a deeper level of introspection. And when you're digging into your beliefs, when you're digging into like yourself, it's going to digging into yourself. When you're taking that deep dive like into your subconscious, you're gonna see things that you might not necessarily want to see, might not feel good to see. And if you're looking at yourself in that way from a judgmental place, then it's gonna make your problems like so much worse, and you're gonna vibrate it even stronger into the universe, and then the universe is gonna return like even stronger, affirmations of exactly what you believe, right? So you have to forgive yourself first. You have to do this from a compassionate place with yourself. You want to do this from a place of where a loving parent would do for their child, right? This is essentially another word for doing shadow work, as I also like to call it. It's called reparenting your inner child, right? So the way I look at it is look, anything that I wouldn't say to my son, I'm not gonna say to myself. Yeah, it's just learning how to be compassionate with yourself. That's the first thing you got to do. Meditation is something that I harp on, something that I love to do, something that changed my life forever once I started doing it. Introspection is something perfect to do when you're just sitting down alone and just spending time with yourself and just asking yourself the hard questions. That's pretty much what it is. It's like just asking yourself questions, because one question is going to lead to another and to another and to another until you're finally going to hit that hard part in the in the ground, unless you struck something. And then after you struck something, you can dig it up and then you can deal with it from there. So a great way to do that is, the next thing is journaling. This is also something that compounded on a change in my life when I first started doing this, is actually getting your thoughts out written down. It's something about like just actually seeing your thoughts written down that just makes it different, like more powerful, more just, I don't know, just in your face. And another thing about it is, once you start taking that deep dive into your subconscious and you start discovering like your limiting beliefs, when you actually write them down on paper and you like look back at it and read it back to yourself, and you realize just how asinine it really sounds. I mean, it helps you like laugh at it, take it more like lighthearted, is, you know what I mean? And it also just makes it easier to reverse, easier to reframe. So that's the key, like the end goal of shadow work is to look at your limiting beliefs with compassion, number one, and then you reframe them into what I like to call giving beliefs that do serve you, right? So that's pretty much the gist of it. To end the video, I want to just end with this quote by Carl Jung. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but this is like pretty much known as the father of shadow work. He's pretty much the person that coined the term. But the quote is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will call it fate. That is the sum up of what your shadow is and how shadow work works in one sentence, in one quote. Look, just like he said, until you make your limiting beliefs and all your core beliefs, until you make that conscious, you figure out what they is, like it's gonna run your life, right? Your reality is a reflection of your core beliefs. Everything you do, say, and believe is based off of what you believe in your core, right? So until you are aware of that, it's gonna run your life, and then you're gonna wonder why all these things in your life keep happening to you, which is why he says you'll call it fate. You'll think that there's nothing you can do about it. You're not aware that you're actually creating your own reality through what you believe and how you think and what you think and how you act. Those things together make your vibration, and then that's where your manifestations come from. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but the thing I want to end the video is like, look, like shadow work is so important because you have to understand how manifestation actually works. It's not just things that you want. Manifesting isn't just like thinking the things that you want and making those happen. It's like, yeah, that can be the case, but the fact of the matter is you're always manifesting. You're always manifesting, right? It's not that you're a manifestor, you're manifesting, but are you consciously doing it or doing it on autopilot based on beliefs in your shadow that you haven't worked with? Hence why it's important to do shadow work. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this channel. It was great doing this again, and let me know if you like this kind of content in the comments. Like I said, I recently started doing this on this channel because I'm trying to grow as a creator, as a coach as well. So yeah, let me know. Again, my email address is in the description box, and yeah, take care of yourselves. Till next time, peace.